Hi everybody, it's Sarah and it's Spirited Saturday, and today is, we're talking about weight gain and recovery, and unequivocally, without a doubt, 100%, no ifs, ands, or buts about it, it is definitely one of the hardest parts of early recovery. When I was first gaining the first little bit of weight that I had to gain, I was completely consumed by it. I was consumed by trying to figure out where it was going, what did I have to do to compensate for it, what kind of clothing would I need to use to hide it. It was just nuts, and I got very little done in terms of therapeutic work. And they know that. And there's a lot of research out there that suggests that when you discharge people who are underweight while they're still underweight, the likelihood of relapsing is like tenfold. Don't quote me on that, but it's very, very high. And as such, that's why they don't discharge people before they've reached a healthy weight. But it can be very, very hard. And that's the other thing too, is that a lot of people don't realize the bare minimum healthy weight is not a healthy weight for everybody. A lot of people have to be more or heavier than that because of body types and body fat and muscle and that kind of thing. But I pretty much have doubled my weight basically in terms of how much weight I've gained. And the first little bit went to my stomach, and I got asked 3 times in the same 6 months whether or not I was pregnant. I was devastated. I couldn't handle it. And it was really, really hard. But I did survive it, and I don't look like I'm pregnant anymore, and it did distribute quite nicely. So that's something else to remember, is that you may see yourself as fat when you gain weight. That's quite natural, quite normal for people with eating disorders. But it does end up distributing the way it's supposed to. And the other thing that's really, really hard to do, and that's very important to remember, is to split that connection between the core beliefs that you have about weight gain and your self-worth and value. The bottom line is that your weight is not reflective of your value. And it can be hard to remember that, but this is the way that I can remember it. Is I chose recovery, and by pursuing recovery, indirectly, I accept that I'm going to gain weight. And therefore, I am successfully engaging in recovery because I'm also gaining weight. So it's become kind of an indicator of success rather than something to berate yourself over. And the bottom line is you are not lazy, you are not a failure, you're not inadequate, you're not unlovable when you gain weight. It's a natural part of the recovery process, and it's something that's hard, but it's manageable. We get there, and there's a really, really beautiful point in recovery where it stops being about the number and it becomes about healing. And that is probably one of the more empowering moments of your recovery. And I would even go as far as to suggest that when you reach that point, you kind of reach the midpoint, the hurdle. And it's almost like a point of no return. You may relapse, you may slip back into eating disorder behaviors, but you will never, ever truly be an eating disorder again. You will always have that focus on, where you're going and the life that's ahead instead. And so I guess that's how I dealt with it. The really interesting thing is that I like my body now a lot more than I did when I was very underweight. To be quite honest, my body image now is a lot better, as in smaller or more realistic, than it ever was when I was very underweight. I look back at pictures and I'm like, holy crap, how did I ever see what I thought I was seeing? And now it's far more realistic, and that's kind of comforting. It's kind of comforting to know that what you see is correct. Your body's not playing tricks on you, or your mind's not playing tricks on you. And that's also a really, really important turning point in recovery, is when you start to see things that you like about yourself, and as well as things that you like about your body. And it happens, you do end up liking your body eventually. That's the thing too, is people ask me, how do you know that you're doing well in recovery? I can't ever picture myself jumping out of bed and being like, wow, I'm so glad I get to live in this body. I can't picture that either. To be quite honest, I don't ever think I will jump out of bed being excited to live in this body. But I have a really deep respect for it. It's taken me to where I am today, and it's really important to remember that, I put it through some pretty tough times, and it pulled through for me. And so I don't love it for its shape, I don't love it for, its weight, I don't love it for the way it looks. I love it for being the dependable, forever friend it is, and the fact that it's still pulling through for me. When I look in the mirror, I have a few moments sometimes where I'm like, oh wow, my butt looks kind of good in these pants, or, oh wow, okay, I'm kind of, an attractive individual from time to time. But if I sit there in front of a mirror and say, what do I like about my body? I'm not going to find anything. It's something that you almost have to catch your eating disorder off guard. But it does happen. You do find things that you like about your body, and you do find things that you can tolerate about your body, and you do have days where you feel attractive, and that's really, really nice. And it's worth the work that it takes to get there. So, I don't know, I hope that was worthwhile for you. I will talk to you next week. Bye.